Thanks, guys. Probably two mistakes again. Was that your read of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, is mistakes by trying to do something, or is it just lapses in concentration? Being too...
Look, I thought our intent wasn't there in the first half. I thought, every duel, majority of duels were going their way. We didn't move the ball well enough. Conceded some poor goals, obviously. Great spirit, to be honest, to get back into it as well, because, it was a really quick hit, and then, we got back into it, then again went behind and sort of got another goal. And then, just don't felt we moved it well enough, created enough quality chances to win that game in the second half. There's one thing to have an intent, also, in terms of winning your duels and, obviously being at your best defensively. Just was disappointed with our intent with the ball, not to play forward when we could play forward, to run off the ball enough. So we got what we deserved.
Does that show if you're going to make this where you need to be, like the way Adelaide produced that first half?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we want to be realistic about being a finals team, that performance ain't going to cut it. I'm sure players are aware of that in the change room now. I'm aware of it for sure. So I've got to take responsibility for that performance and make sure that, we quickly turn that around for next week's game, which is a big game for us.
Yeah, I think depending on what happens tomorrow, you could be 4 points out of the 6 by end of tomorrow's game, depending on the result. I mean, when do you start looking at that, and when does that become mathematics as opposed to in your own destiny?
Oh, well, you're obviously looking at it because you're in that part of the season, but ultimately, you just got to concentrate on your performances, and performances need to improve. I mean, I can accept in a way, last week's result, because I felt the performance, had so many positive elements to it and still had some errors in it, obviously, but I don't think we can sit here and accept that. I think we're setting the bar too low if we think it's a little bit off. It's way off tonight, and we need to change that.
What's the first step towards lessening that gap or changing that?
Oh, well, where do you start with that? How big's a piece of rope? There's a lot of different ways to analyse that question. I just think, like I said, it's disappointing night for the group, and ultimately, we've got to turn that around, and that's the challenge now.
I mean, you've said this group has been good at responding previously. Is that what you've got to draw on? I mean, those three on the bounce now, I don't know what... Yeah. The dressing room's normally pretty good, but confidence-wise and those type of things, do they start... do you have to start lifting them up, or is it...
Yeah, well, you got to look at a few different ways. Obviously, you got to look at personnel as well, and players are, given opportunities, and it's their opportunity to take as well out on that field, and, that's our decisions to make. So we have to look at that game as a whole and see, do we need to make changes? Where were we off structurally? Where were we off mentally? There's so many different factors to that. It can seem very far away, but then you can reflect on, a previous month that wasn't that far away. So got to quickly just get back to that form and become harder to beat and harder to score against, and give ourselves a chance.
Is Reno far off, or is he more likely after the international break? Is he fit to play? Not.
Yeah, no, he won't be ready by next week either. So, we'll have him after the break.
And what about Sato? It looked like he hit his knee.
Yeah, not sure. I'm not sure if it's studs or if it's because of the way he fell. He said to me it was studs. I'll have to refine my Japanese to make sure that's what he said, but that's what I thought it was.
You're not overly concerned. It's structural.
Not sure yet. Haven't even been in the rooms yet. Yeah.
Just before he came off injured, you guys were having a little conversation on the sidelines there. Was that just discussing his runs, or what was that sort of conversation about?
Oh, just about where certain players were finding themselves close to him, and then wasn't giving him enough space as well. So it was just around some positioning, and he was just asking for some clarification.
You said before that you didn't think the first half was your best performance. What was the messaging at half time of the group?
Yeah, that we need to compete more. I mean, we didn't compete enough, to be honest. There's so many second balls that ended up falling to them, and we weren't there, and we weren't compact enough, and there was a lot of space between the lines, and like I said, the intent was off. So improve the intent to have a chance.
Martin has come back into the side today. He talked about ball movement. His second touch found Sato down the wing there and ended up leading to almost chance. Were you happy with how he came back into the squad?
Look, we start talking about individuals, I'll be going through the whole team, and I was happy with elements of every player, and I think every player also will look at their game and reflect on their game, and even including himself, and know that they can play with an even more aggressive intent than what they did.
So as you said, next week's obviously a big game. What's the plan leading into this week in training and whatnot?
Oh, it's too early to worry about the plan. We'll look at the game, we'll see the areas we were off, which there were areas, and as I said, just be really realistic about what that performance was, and then start the week. And it's a clean slate for everyone to put their hand up to be part of it, because, like I said, that's not an acceptable performance overall.
I know Craig Woodland's the other team, but I mean, he very involved in that first 30 minutes. He sort of set the tone for them, didn't he? I mean, I know you had a lot to do with his career. Does it hurt seeing a player come and do that against you?
No, it doesn't hurt at all. I'm really proud of what Craig's done in his career, and that's the difference, isn't it? And if you look at them, like, we get into a lot of those same positions, to be honest, and he's got the ability to put the ball exactly where it's got to go, and that's the difference. That's the difference for them, to be honest, as well.
With so Saito's looking better every week. Is it a thing where he's gelling to the team's kind of setup, or is there going to be some adaptation of your game plan around him at all? Or?
No, like, he's fitted in, because in the teams that he's played for, they play a very similar style of play, so it's not too difficult. And like I said, he has his qualities, and I think he can also even do more. And it's his second start, I think, since July, so he's been positive for us. But we want to get outcomes, and that's what's important for all the players who play in the front third.